I'm on.
So what we're going to do is go through the family album, and you just identify folks as best you can, and it doesn't matter how you do it, okay?
Okay, you're ready now.
All right, we'll start right here.
You want to start with...
And let me get down there. I think it's neat that we still have this album.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, now, who's this?
This is our mother and father, Dorothea Fry Burkle and William Ernst Burkle.
Which would be my...
It'd be your great-grandmother and grandfather.
Right, okay. And where were they born? Do you know, Helen?
Father was born in Schmieden, Germany, and mother was born in Württemberg, Germany.
Did they come to this country, or did they stay in Germany?
Father came to this country in 1880, and he first stopped in Pennsylvania for a year, and then he came on to Lafayette and opened a meat market business of his own.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And mother came over from Germany in 1884 with her sister Rose. She was only 18 years old, and she was sponsored by her Uncle John Rowe. They all had to be sponsored by someone when they came over, and they all have to find work, so she got a job in a boarding house, and that's where she met my father.
Here in Lafayette?
In Lafayette, and he was board room there, and that's where she met him. And they were married in 1885. January 22nd, 1885.
Here in Lafayette?
Here in Lafayette, yes. And
okay.
Now
and when did she pass away?
Well, I should say first that they had 10 children and raised 8, 2 dying when they were babies, and
well, let's see. There was Lydia Margaret, born December 8th, 1886.
That's right.
And married to Frank Dexter. And June 16th, 1909.
That's right.
And then Bertha Johanna Frederica.
That's right.
Born July 20th, 1889. And married Ott Carmichael, August 31st, 1910.
That's right.
Victor Ernst, E-R-N-S-T.
That's right. That's what he
born March 21st, 1893. And were married to Irene Furness.
Furness.
Oh, F-U-R-N-E-S-S.
Furness.
In 1927.
Well, yes, I guess that's right.
Yeah. When did Victor pass away?
Victor passed away in about 19 years ago, which would be about 1960. Wait a minute, I'm trying to think here. 1966, something like that. Yeah. I'm sure that's what it was.
Okay. Did Victor and Irene have any children?
No, they didn't have any children.
All right. And then was Dora Catherine, C-A-T-H-E-R-I-N-E?
Yes, that's right.
Born June 4th, 1895.
She passed away.
And died June 17th, same year.
That's right. She
what
was
happened
a baby,
to her?
Just a small baby. She, she was born without an opening into her stomach.
Oh.
I don't know what you call it now, but anyway, they operate on them now, but those days they didn't know anything about it.
Then George David, born October 2nd, 1896, married to Esther E-S-T-H-E-R, Elser, E-L-S-E-R?
That's right.
June 25th, 1917.
Yeah.
Did they have children?
They had 5 children. And if you want me to name them, maybe they...
Remember who they are?
Oh, sure. They had Bill, was named William Anthony, George David, Doris, I don't know her middle name, Doris is her name, and then they lost a baby, Robert Eugene, died when he's 3 months old. And then the youngest one was Jacqueline Mary.
Okay.
But
When did George pass away?
George passed away in February 1980.
Okay. Then there's Leona, Dorothy,
Dorothea.
D-O-R-O-T-H-E.
Dorothea, it's supposed to be.
Okay. Was there an A on the end?
Well, it's supposed to be like my mother's, which is Dorothea.
Okay. Emma, E-M-M-A?
Dorothea,
Emma.
Leona Dorothea Emma. Yes, that was probably her godmother's name.
And she was born May 9th, 1899?
That's right.
Married to Ernest Cook, May
Ernest Cook.
18th, 1919?
That's right.
Okay.
Then he died, and she married, what was his name? Charlie Thompson.
Right. Did they have children?
Yes, Leona had, and Ernest had one daughter, Betty Dot, whom we called Betty Dorothea, but we called her Betty Dot. Just the one child, and she had 3 stepchildren from Ernest.
Betty Dot and Leona live in Florida?
Yes, in Cocoa, Florida.
Yeah.
Cocoa, Florida.
Okay, and then there's Elizabeth Ann Marie, born October 14th, 1901. Married to Lem Campbell.
That was her first husband, and she divorced. They had a divorce, and she married Adolph Gosh later on. And she had one daughter, Margie, from her first husband.
Oh, so that's Betty.
Yes.
Oh, it didn't.
Sister Betty.
Didn't click. And she
Uh-huh.
married Lem on March 11th, 1924. When did she marry Adolph?
I really couldn't tell you, but probably quite a while. Well, I imagine it was 5, 6, 7 years later anyway.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Okay. Then we had Dorothy, born July 3rd, 1903, and died July 11th, same year.
Yes, that's another baby that died.
Okay. And then Eleanor Mary, December 4th, 1906, married Willis Haig,
Yes.
H-A-A-G,
Haag.
November 18th, 1928. And they have how many children?
They have 4 children. Philip, Irene, and let's see, Irene, and Dorothea, and Mary. I got it. I had to stop and think.
Okay. And then you, Helen Louise, born September 22nd, 1909, married to who? Oh, Elmo Dobbins.
Yeah.
January 5, 19, can you remember what year it was, Elmo?
Somewhere between 1900 and
Oh,
2000.
No, 1929, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Had the one daughter, Dolores,
Right.
and it's just, one daughter, Dolores.
Okay, now, let's see. Why don't you turn a page and let's see who's next. And I realize we don't necessarily know who all these folks are, but
Oh, I know those 2.
let me get down there.
That's in my... Got it.
Now, these are who?
This is our grandmother. Let's see what they got on her name is Anna. Anna Fry. No, wait a minute. Anna Rowe Fry. That's what it'd be. She would be. See, she was a Rowe before she. Be Anna Rowe Fry.
Anna Marie Fry,
Was it-
nee,
yeah.
Rowe, R-O-W-E.
R-O-W-E. That's
Born in Roswildon, R-O-S-W-E-L-D-O-N, Germany.
That must be right. It's
August
right.
8, 1832. Died May 18th, 1908. That sound right?
Yeah. And then, and this is our grandfather, maternal grandfather, I should say. That's
David Fry?
David Fry.
Okay, he
And
born
you-
also in Roswildon, Germany.
That's right.
April 8th, 1831, died March 1917.
That's right.
Did they never come out of Germany?
Never
Stayed
been
there the
over.
whole time.
They were never here in America.
Okay.
And of course, I don't know if you want, these are My mother's sister, Aunt Katie, and her husband.
Yeah, let's put them down.
You want to put them in? My mother's sister, Katie, or Catherine, I should say, and her husband, Coonrod Speckhart.
You got to be kidding.
That's right. And this is my mother's brother, Carl Fry, that came over from Germany, too, and lived in California.
Oh, he did?
Yes, he's lived and died in California.
Okay.
Pardon?
Do you know who those are?
No, I don't know who these three are here, or this. Those are, a lot of these are friends, or they could be relatives, because some of them say Stuttgart, but I just don't know. This one here now are the...
Oh,
got it
Helen.
all down the...
Helen, control yourself.
Don't
Elmo, get the newspaper.
Don't put the camera on me.
That's Grandmother Fry's brother?
This one here,
Yeah.
that was your great-grandmother's brother. That would be your great-uncle, wouldn't it?
Okay, and his name was?
Carl Fry.
All right,
And
and
he
then...
made his home in, I think we just said, didn't we say on there? That
Yeah.
he made his home in California.
And these three ladies we don't know, right?
No, I don't know who they are or who this person is.
Well, that picture must have been taken over in Germany.
These all did, yes.
Okay.
All of these are taken in Germany.
And we don't really know who these two are.
No, see, they could be relatives, probably are.
Yeah, okay.
You want to turn?
Where'd the album come from? Go ahead and turn the page.
My mother's, their father, and I don't recall these boys either, and this man here.
Now let me get in and let's just see.
Just look at them and the way they're dressed. Kind of neat to look at them.
Look like they're in their teens.
They're probably children of
Who's
my
the dapper
mother's.
fellow with the mustache?
Yeah, isn't that something? Look at that curl.
Don't know who he is either?
Uh-uh. Got it waxed.
Okay.
Want to turn it?
Yeah.
I don't know who she is either. I don't know. I know who this here is. If you want to take those little kids, isn't that cute? Look at their...
Who are they?
I don't know who they are. Like I say, these are all made in Germany, and they're probably our nieces and nephews to my mother and father.
Okay.
Now this is... Now, I don't hold nothing to spill this time, so... This up here is my my mother's Uncle John Rowe and his wife, who sponsored all of the my mother's brother, including her and her brothers and sisters that came over from Germany.
Were they here?
They lived here. They live out on a farm in Otterburn. That's a little town.
Indiana?
Yes, right out of Lafayette, about 10, 15 miles.
Okay.
And, well, this is a sister. I think it's my mother's sister, Rose. And I don't recall her.
The one on the left is?
I don't know. No, I think that's Bertha, my mother's sister, Bertha. And this is her sister, Rose. Look at this neat picture here, these three.
This is Rose? Wait a minute.
Rose, she went to California. She never married.
Is that Rose on the left there too?
This one here?
Yeah.
No, I think that's her sister.
No, I mean the one between the two. The one I'm looking at now.
No, I don't know who that is.
Looks like a close-up of
Doesn't it?
Rose.
Well, it could be.
Probably is.
I don't know. I never knew her.
Okay.
She went to California, and I never did meet her. And these are three little children there. Somebody's...
Look bored stiff, don't they?
That little boy, he looks like he is bored, got his hand up there.
Okay.
Now, this is my mother's cousin. Well, we called her Lizzie Bauer, and her oldest child, taken when she was young. She's been gone for years.
How does she spell her last name?
B-A-U-E-R.
Okay.
That's the German way. I don't know who this boy is.
All right.
And there's another one. These are all, like I say.
Wait.
Oh, you didn't get
Look
her.
at that outfit.
Yes, isn't that something? You notice how so many of in those days, the hair is all frizzed
Yeah.
on the top.
Okay.
Now this, I know, is my Aunt Katie's daughter, Clara. If you look close, you can see she was cross-eyed.
Yeah. So's the dog. Okay. And we don't know those three little boys?
No, I don't have no, but look how they're dressed.
Yeah.
Look at those big bows.
Big collars. And then,
Now, I don't know who these people are either because, let's see, they're all...
okay.
As they said. Oh, there, I got that. Wait a minute. Now, this is my mother's sister, Bertha. Of course, they're all gone now.
Okay. Who are those two?
And this is, I think this looks like Bertha, and it looks like Aunt Rose, my mother's two sisters.
Let's see, who...
Now, I know who these are. This is my mother's sister, Katie, again, and her husband, Cooney, Uncle Cooney, we called him. And there's Clara and Carl, her son Carl. They're all
right.
Yes. But I don't know, couldn't tell you who this is.
Well, she looks tough.
Doesn't she, though? They all stand with a stern look when they have
Yeah.
None of them smile. I don't think you ever see one that smiles. You ever notice that?
I think it was verboten.
I think it must have been, because you notice none of them smile. Now, this is one of my cousin, Richard, that my parents raised him and his sister. They sent him over from Germany after his father died.
Okay.
Parents raised him. I don't know whose babies these are.
Well,
This is
let's
my...
just wait a minute.
Oh, okay.
Well, I like taking pictures of babies.
Yeah, aren't they cute?
Okay. Wait. Who's that now?
Well, this is my father's brother, but I don't know his first name unless it's Richard. Now, he had a brother Richard, I know, but he never came to America, so I never met
Do we
him.
know the ones in the middle?
No, I don't know who they are. Got a beard, something
Dapper fellow on the right there.
Yeah. That must be another brother of my father's, because he looks a lot like my father. But
Yeah, he does.
But I'm sure it's not my father.
Okay.
Now, I don't know who these people are.
Let me see.
And I don't know who these two are. But these two little, you haven't got that far yet. You see what, that's just the back of that picture.
Okay. Don't know them.
No, but now these two children are that same as that Richard I showed you growing up. Well, those are the way they looked when they came over from Germany and lived with my parents. That's long
Richard
ago.
and Mary.
Richard and Mary Burkle.
Okay.
And my parents raised them, and Mary sent
little
Mary.
girl.
She is a nurse. Now, I knew Mary real well after I grew up, of course, and Richard went to, when he was in service in the First World War service, we never heard from him anymore. It was the last we ever heard from him.
In the First World War?
First World War.
Did he go back to fight Germany?
We had no. He was in the. I think he was in the service to start with here in America.
Is that right?
We don't know unless he got over there and just stayed. I don't know.
Huh. Okay.
We've often wondered about it. Eleanor and I have talked about it. Now, I don't know who these are at all. And I can't help you on these either.
These were taken in Zurich?
This is Stuttgart. These are all pictures taken. Most of these all come from Germany.
Yeah, but the sign on the left of that one. Or I guess that's the back of the one of the brother and sister is, says Zurich.
Oh, yeah. Zurich, what? Well,
Switzerland.
yeah. Well, it was probably taken before they came over to America then.
We don't know these folks, huh?
No, I don't know. He looks familiar, but I can't place who he is. I don't know who this she is.
Okay.
Because, like I say, well, that was... Now, that looks like my father. Picture of him taken. Now, that looks like him there. And I'm sure that's who that is.
Okay. Who's the fellow with a beard?
Well, you took him before. So
Oh, I see. Previous page.
yeah, you took those. That was just didn't have anything. I'll turn it over to you.
Okay.
That's probably another. Someone who's in service in Germany. I don't know who. Look at that hairdo. Now here is the yell me when, and I'll show you this fancy outfit this woman's got on.
Okay.
But I don't know who she is. Look at that fancy. Can you get it in there?
Yeah, just a sec. That's something else.
Isn't that something?
She's carrying
Look
an
at
umbrella there?
that. Yes, she's got an umbrella, gloves, and look at that hat. Foot high.
Sure is.
That is really a...
Don't know who that is.
You wanted to change? You got it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's it there. You want some in the other Alvin?
Okay.
Or just a few?
Let's, no, I think that's okay on
Yeah,
that. Let me put that back with your
Okay.
stuff. And,
Yeah, I'll straighten it up later. Now what do you want?
this looks like,
Now, would you want to get the first one first, and then...
Okay.
Yeah, and then that is the taken... what is that behind there? Yes.
set that one up there.
Yeah, that's cute. I think that... Now, what do you want me to say?
That's fine, just right there.
What do you want me to say about it?
Let me get in on it.
It's kind of crooked, isn't it?
No, you had it straight.
Did I? You just want me to tell you who those are? This picture was taken... Now, wait a minute. 1906, yeah.
I think it was 1907.
Well, they went to Germany in 1906. It had to be 1906 because Eleanor was born the same year they went to Germany.
Is that right?
She was born 1906.
So from this side to that side, who are we talking about? Just point your finger.
You, too bad I don't have a pointer. Get my finger. Well, you want to start the
let's
top
see.
row?
Jeannie had a pen right there. Let's use that. Just a minute, let me get it for you. There we go.
Okay, that'll be better. I can start with my mother and father,
Okay.
and then the oldest down to the youngest. This is my father, William Burkle, and my mother, Dorothea, taken in 1906.
Mm-hmm.
Before they went to Germany. They wanted a picture of the family.
Okay.
And this is my sister Lydia and brother Victor. Lydia was 20, I think she was 20 years old or something like that. And Victor was about 13. And, no, Bertha was 16. I got that wrong. It was 18, 13, and 16. That's Sister Bertha. That's my brother George. And that's Sister Leona. And Sister Betty. Now I know Betty was about 5 years old. Leona was about 7. And George would have probably been about 10.
Okay. Now put the other one right in front of it.
Now this picture was taken about, I would say about 1912 or 13.
Okay.
And there again is my father and my mother. And my sister Lydia, or pardon me, I got it wrong here. Sister Leona. And this is Lydia and Victor and Bertha, George, and Betty and Eleanor and Helen.
Helen's the one with a stern jaw.
Yep, I'm the one.
Looked like she was just having a wonderful time.
Yeah, probably the way they made you hold your heads and all. And you'll notice again, not a smile in the plays. That's the way they took pictures. Now here it says 1912. Well, I was right. I knew it was either 12 or 13.
Handsome family.
Yeah, there's
And that's everybody.
pretty good. That's the family there, yeah. Taken there.
Okay.
And, how about you want to take?
Okay.
And over here is my sister Leona,
Mm-hmm.
Victor, George, Helen, which is me, Eleanor, Bertha, Lydia, and Betty. And that was the first time that we've all been together in quite a long while.
Lodge, turn that picture and see if I can get it on the camera.
Where'd you
Just
want
hold it up right there. And let me see if I can't get down to it.
Can you? Oh, you want me to hold
Hold
it up?
still.
Wait a minute, I don't want to get my...
Wait a minute.
Oh, yeah, wait a minute is right.
So this was a lodge where now?
This is a lodge about... it's on the Tippecanoe River, on an island, and it was called Dexter's Lodge, and it was about, I'd say 10 miles from Lafayette.
Yeah.
And
Who owned it?
Frank and Carl Dexter, his brother.
Uh-huh.
And the
Family
Frank-
go out there for reunions very often?
for get-togethers, oh yes. Whenever the family would come home, all of them come home for the summer, they'd always go out to the island. And like I told you, Frank would, better put my foot down, you got that foot on it. Hey,
Well, make yourself comfortable.
settle down. Come here. Get
okay.
out of there.
They're all right.
Well, I was afraid he was going to knock that down. Let me put him out. You want to? I've got to put that dog
Just now.
That is, well, what would I say? Your
Great aunt.
Your
My great Aunt Minnie.
This is,
Your great aunt.
well, this is, it's your great. It's Jay's great, I should say.
Yeah.
You want to say it now, or you want to?
No.
Yeah, I should say that. It's your great Aunt Minnie and her husband.
And that was,
And it was your great-grandpa's, your sister.
Okay.
Sister Minnie.
And who else
Wouldn't
we
that be
have
your
here?
great? Yeah, he's
Yeah.
your great-grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah, what, do you want to appear some more? Or
I'll
just,
put one of those up.
well, which one do you want to?
Either one.
You don't want the...
That's, now
This,
sit it right on top of the other one.
you got this in here?
Yeah. So that's, your mother.
Yeah, that's great-grandma, your great-grandma.
She was a pretty lady.
That was a nice-looking woman. See, it's kind of hard. I was trying to tell. If you're going to have it, then it would be your... How would you...
Great grandmother.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Your grandmother.
And my mother, this is my mother.
Your mother.
And your great-grandma,
That's right.
wasn't it?
Okay. And then this is, Mama Bert,
That's Mama Bert.
your sister.
This is my sister,
Okay.
Mama
And
Bert.
who's next?
And this is...
Let's get these out of the way.
This is my sister Bertha, and Lydia, and George, and Victor,
And Leo.
and Leo.
Yeah, that's what Mama Bert
Did
said.
she
She
call
said
him
it was
Leo?
Leo the dog.
Yeah, they did have. I've heard about that dog they had.
He shows up in a couple of pictures. Remember, he was in the other one. We were joking about the dog being cross-eyed too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was in there with Clara.
Yeah. Okay.
And I can recall them telling about him, how smart he was, that he was so big that he could take his paws and turn the doorknob to open the door. Now, of course, that's what they told me. I don't know if that's true or not. But I remember talking about that dog.
Okay.
Then here is another picture of, that's a sister Leona, and Betty, and Eleanor, and myself, Helen, when I was about 3-4 months old or so.
All right.
There we are. Now you got some more.
Well, where'd that picture of Grandma Berkeley go? There it is.
Now that is,
Dorothea Berkeley?
that's Dorothea Burkle. Dorothea Fry, that's my mother. You ready?
Yeah.
This is my mother, Dorothea Fry Burkle.
I happen to have her obituary notice. It says 1954.
That's right.
Mrs. Dorothea Fry Berkeley, 88, of 904 North 7th Street, died at 11:55 p.m. Friday in her home after a year's illness. Born in Germany, she came to the United States in Lafayette at the age of 16. She was married in 1885 to William Berkeley, who operated meat markets here for 45 years. He died in 1935. Mrs. Berkeley was a member of Emmanuel Evangelical
That's right.
and Reformed Church,
That's
Mothers of World War I, Chapter 33, and the Rebecca, R-E-B-E-K-A-H Lodge, number 291. What's that?
right. Rebecca Lodge.
Yeah. Any idea what that was?
Well, it's a lodge for women from Oddfellows. You know what the Oddfellows Lodge?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a women's lodge. It's affiliated with the Oddfellows.
Okay, and then it said, surviving her 6 daughters, Mrs. Lydia Dexter, Dayton, Ohio, Mrs. O.M. Carmichael, Dallas, Texas, Mrs. Charles Thompson, and Mrs. Adolph Gosh, both of West Palm Beach, Florida, Mrs. Willis Haig, H-A-A-G,
That's right.
and Mrs. Elmo Dobbins, both of Lafayette, and 2 sons, Victor Berkeley of Fortville and George D. Berkeley of Lafayette. Who was
Right.
Mrs. Willis Haig?
Eleanor.
Oh, Eleanor, okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And then it said, friends may call at the Solar, S-O-L-L-E-R,
That's
Baker
right.
Funeral Home after Sunday noon. Services at 2 p.m. Monday, Reverend Linus Weirwill
Yeah, that's
officiating. Burial in Springvale Cemetery.
right.
Rebecca Lodge writes at 7:30 p.m. Sunday in the funeral home. 14 grandchildren and 18 great-grandchildren survive.
Oh.
I guess that included me.
Yeah, that's right. It was your. That's right. 14 grandchildren.
Well, she was a beautiful lady. I remember her very slightly from living in Dallas.
Well, Mother was, like I say about Dolores, she's beautiful inside and out both. Mother was, I've never heard anybody say a unkind thing about her. She got along with all of her in-laws and children.
Let's see what else I have in here.
Mother, I can hear people talk about her to me today yet about my mother. And they loved to listen to her. She was, she loved to talk, and she was interesting. Because she liked to travel, a lot.
Oh, did she really?
Oh, she loved it. She'd been to California, I don't know how many times. And after the children were grown, of course. And,
Well, here's another picture of her at a much younger age, I think.
yeah, now that's a little different yet, isn't it?
Wonder how old she was in that picture.
Well, on this one here, I would say it was after Papa died, and she was,
I mean the one that's up.
yeah, she's probably, in this one here, she was past 70, I know that probably.
The one we just looked at previously.
But this one here, well, she's got a smooth, don't have any wrinkles or anything. She looks pretty young, doesn't she? I'd say 25 or 30, wouldn't you?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'd think. Because I'm looking to usually, you know, you get these lines down here when you get around 35. And
Okay. And who is this one here?
you can't see her.
Put that one up.
That is my brother Victor, and is in his World War II uniform. He was a
Set it up there.
he was a first lieutenant. My first lieutenant in the Second World War, First World War.
Okay, here's one.
Yeah, that's another picture of mother and father taken down in Florida.
Do they live down there?
No, they went after my father retired from business. Then they spent every winter in Florida, or after Papa passed away, and Bertha moved to Texas, then she'd spend maybe one winter in Texas and the other winter in Florida.
Is that right? Okay, I think this is another picture of
Papa. Did you get Victor?
Yeah, we got Victor.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, I think we looked at this one earlier. That's the one that was in your album, huh?
Yeah, that's the same as when the album is it. That's.
All right.
It's awful quiet around here, isn't it?
I think we outlasted everybody this evening.
I think we must be night people. I know I am. Because
Okay.
I can stay up, but I hate to get up in the morning.
Here in Lafayette?
Yes, down on 7th and Salem, the old home place. And this is right here is the parlor, right where this picture is. What you see here is what we call the sitting room. And I've got that rocker over in the barn right now.
Do you really?
Yeah, still that rocker right there.
Set the picture over there and let's see if I can't zoom down on it.
And there's my mother's picture right up there. Oh my gosh, I forgot my little dog. I better. Can you get in?
Yeah, just leave it right there. I'll see if
I'm going to
can.
get in and let that puppy in. My gosh, I forgot her. Poor little thing. She probably thought I went off and left. Well, come there, Patsy. Come on.
So that's a picture of my great-grandfather, Burkle. And that's this same picture that was hanging in the parlor. And that's a charcoal. And it's a charcoal made from this photograph.
Yeah, that is
Because apparently they took the photograph and then did a charcoal from it.
That's what it is. Uh-huh.
Because I noticed that, and it took a while to figure this out, but in that photograph, move that over here.
Yeah, that's
If you'll look at this, well, maybe you can't see it, but in the original charcoal, there's only 2 books on the table. On the right. But on the photograph, there's a stack of books.
Oh, for heaven.
And in the charcoal that's on the right, there's a pattern on the floor that the painter, not the painter, but the artist put in. But there isn't a pattern in the floor on the picture.
Oh, for heaven.
So everything else is true to life, even down to the footstool. Of course, I think he ran out of steam when he did the table, because the table rendition is poor in the charcoal. Yeah, and it's not to scale or anything, but I ran across these, and then I realized that
yeah, that's a charcoal drawing there.
that this charcoal was obviously done from this photograph.
Yeah, they were.
And then I found that among the pictures, and that's kind of neat because it authenticates the existence of this picture in the family parlor.
Yeah, it is. That's the family inside, because this picture sits in what we call the parlor. Because there's my mother's picture hanging there. See, there's my picture of my mother and my father.
Oh, sure enough.
And that's the parlor. And this little room here is called the sitting room. And way back here is the dining room. And you can see the dining room table and the chairs there.
And that rocker's out here?
I still got the rocker
I'll
here.
be darned.
Yeah, it has all, in back of it's got all inlaid mother of pearl.
Well, what happened to the family home?
Elmo and I bought it when Mother passed away, and then when we built out here, we kept it. But then we decided to sell it because we tried to rent it. They wouldn't take care of the property, so we just sold it. We hated to do it, but
Well, it's understandable, though.
so we sold it, and they made it into apartments, and you know what that does.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Of course, it was a big house. There was a lot of room in there.
What was the picture that was in the museum that you all had talked about the last time I was here?
Eleanor has the picture down in her apartment.
What's it a picture of?
It's a picture of it's a house where your mother and Lydia were born. It was a one-story house at that time. And then right next to the house is a wood yard, and right on the corner is a building that is still standing, and it was, for years it's been a drugstore. I don't know what it was back then. And then right across the street from this is just like a pasture over there.
Mm-hmm. How did she finally get it back from the museum?
Well, she said she only loaned it to him, and then we got to talking about it, and we thought, well, we told Eleanor, says, well, you ought to get that picture. They had it for a long time, and I says, first thing you know, they'll think it's theirs.
Mm-hmm.
And so she finally started calling them, and she had an awful time getting it because they have so many things, you know, people bring, and then they don't know where it's at, and they had an awful time finding it. But she finally got it back, and of course they said, well, we thought it was given to them. Eleanor said, no, it was just loaned to you.
What museum was it?
Well, the only one we got. We only got a museum downtown. It's, I don't know just exactly where you would say it would be.
Historical museum, though?
Yes, they got a lot of things in there. They got a lot of stuff, and they got so much given to them, and then, like every museum, they don't get everything out. And so she finally got it back. But how it happened to be made, it's made on the order of Grandma Moses, just about like that type of stuff. And it shows those one or two horses pulling a wagon, a covered, closed-up wagon like they use in those days. And then it had on there Burkle and Calvert.
Is that right?
And but it's really, really interesting picture. It's got a lot of, you know, things like that. Like I say, the wood yard and all that.
Is that the same Calver that we were talking about, Minnie and
Yeah,
John Calver?
that's right. He and Papa, John Calver and Papa went into business up in that Linwood area.
Meat market?
Went into a meat market together. And then Papa bought John out, and John started another one right across the street. I don't know maybe if they got into it or what, but anyway, that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then years later, Papa started another one then on 6th and Salem. And then when they opened that store, then he bought a lot on 7th and Salem and started to build the house where we were all of us were born and raised there, except your mother and Lydia were born there. But the rest of us were all born.
Where was Mom Bert born?
Up in Linwood, where this house is that owner's got that picture of.
And Lydia?
Lydia and Bert both were born there, up in Linwood. But in Lafayette. In Lafayette.
Mm-hmm. Well, in this family tree that you've put together, this says that, now when it says great-grandfather, that's your great-grandfather? I mean, my great-great.
Yeah, that would be my great-grandfather and grandfather Burkle. That would be my great-grandfather.
So great-grandfather Burkle, but he spelled his name B-U-E-R-K-L-E?
That's right. I don't understand that.
Well, that was the German way?
It must have been, and I don't know when they started calling B-U-R, but that's...
And it looks like about the time they came over to the States.
I think they must have changed it.
So he was George Peter Burkle?
That's right.
Born, or we don't know.
And yeah, isn't it born?
Oh yeah, born January 10th, 1783. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
And then died September
That's right.
25th, 1847.
See, I found that out later when Dr. Lahr called me up, and he told me about it then. I never had the birth, but for some reason I had the death.
Uh-huh.
And he told me then that was when he was born.
And he was who?
Dr. Lahr. He had formerly the doctor in Mishawaka, Indiana, which is not only about 100 miles from here north. Then he got over in the Purdue Medical Center.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came here to Lafayette. When he came to Lafayette, he decided to find out something about the Burkle, like you. He wants to get interested in it. And so he called George and it first. And Esther didn't know anything about it, so she told him to call me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I got acquainted. So I gave him several leads then, whom he could call, which he did. And then he called me back and told me about these over here then.
Mm-hmm.
We found out. So,
Okay. Well, let's look at these now. Then George Peter married Barbara Kaufman, Kaufman.
that's right. And that's what it said. That's her.
Yeah, and she was born November 29th, 1785.
That's right.
Died November 23rd, 1848.
Yeah, 1848.
Okay. And again, that's your great-grandfather.
That would be my great-grand. Your
Right.
mother, your grandma, or Mama Bert's.
Great-grandfather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it straight.
And then your grandfather is George Peter Burkle, again Buerkle,
That's right.
born January 31st, 1814,
and
and died April 20th, 1889.
that's right.
And then his wife was Catherine, Catherne,
That's right.
Margaret, Margeret. But she was also a Burkle maiden name as well?
Yes, there were a lot of Burkles in that town, and there were a lot of, well, distant cousins.
What town was it?
Well, didn't I say Smeeden? Isn't
Yeah,
that
I
where
think I
Papa?
recall that.
Where did it say here? In Smeeden.
Yeah.
That's up near Stuttgart,
Oh, okay.
in that area.
And she was born 1819, died 1894.
Now, they were born in West Germany, not what is East Germany today. It's
Mhm.
West Germany.
Okay, then your father, William Ernst, Ernst Burkle, but he spelled it Burkle.
That's right.
And
then
he was born April 18th, 1856,
Yeah.
and died April 28th, 1935.
That's right.
And his wife was Dora Burkle, nee Fry, Frey, born November 5th, 1865, died August 1954.
Well, her name, now that's a mistake, her name was really Dorothea, but everybody called her Dora. That's just a nickname. That's what Dolores said she's going to redo this over because there's some mistakes that she...
I see. And they married January 22nd, 1885.
That's right,
Okay. And William Ernst Burkle was born in Schmieden, Schmedan,
Yeah, I suppose.
which is, says Konstad, Württemberg,
Württemberg, Germany.
Konstadwertenburg.
Württemberg, Germany, yeah.
Okay, and then Dorothea Fry was born in Kirchheim, Kircheim, and Zell, Zell,
And Württemberg, Germany. That's right, yes,
okay.
same thing.
And then this also says, I think, that, let's see. And who's David Fry?
Well, grandfather Fry and grandmother Fry. This is my mother's.
Oh, Dora's mother and father.
Yeah, my mother's mother and father. See, David Fry, that's my mother's.
Right. Mother's mother. Mother's father.
That would be my mother's mother and father.
Right. David and Anna Marie Fry.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think we wrote or said that David was born in Roswaldon, Germany, April 8th, 1831, and died March of 1917.
Yeah.
And Anna Marie Fry, nee Rowe, R-O-W-E, was also born in Roswaldon, Germany, August 8th, 1832, until she died in May 18th, 1908. And they never came out of Germany.
Never.
All
No,
right.
they never came over. I never knew them.
And this says that Papa Burkle, William Ernst,
William Ernst
left Germany and arrived in Pennsylvania June 10th, 1880.
That's right.
Stayed a year, then came to Lafayette, Indiana in 1881, and started his own business in September of 1884. Butcher business, meat.
Meat,
Yeah.
had
And
a
then
meat market.
Mama Dora Burkle left Germany May 3rd, 1984, and arrived in Lafayette, Indiana, May 18th, 1884. I see. Now, do we know when they got married?
January 22nd.
1885.
Yeah, you said 18.
Whirlwind romance, then.
Yeah.
About 7 months.
It was, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Quick.
Well, now this other thing over here is interesting. This.
Papa, see, was almost 10 years older than Mother, and she always said that, well, he had the good sense, because she was quite young, but
All right. This says that great-grandparents
great-great-grand.
were Johann, J-O-H-A-N.
Yeah, that's not. I don't understand that. Now I wrote that in a hurry, and I think that must be wrong.
Johann George
Yeah.
Herzog.
Because see, here's the great-great-grandparents, and grandfather and grandmother. Now that, yeah, I'm going to have to ask him again. Johann, that's what it. I got it kind of spelt wrong. See, when he gave me that over the telephone, I just had to work it.
Okay, so we have
Johann.
down here. First, though, we had some notes about Johann George Herzog, a school teacher,
Yeah.
and Marie Magdalena Nee Burkle, again, B-U-E-R-K-L-E. We're not sure who they are.
No.
Okay, but up here, oh, let's go right. Let's go here. Great-great-grandfather was Johann, J-O-H-A-N-N, Philip with one L, Burkle, B-U-E-R-K-L-E, born August 27, 1747, and died July 16, 1816.
Must be.
And it says he was a farmer.
That's right. That's what he
Okay,
told
and
me.
then Magdalena, M-A-G-D-E-L-E-N-A, Margaretha, M-A-R-G-A-R-E-T-H-A, Herzog was his
Yeah.
wife.
Yeah, there you are. See, there's that Herzog
Okay.
there.
Born November 22nd, 1748, and died March 28, 1824.
Uh-huh.
So if those were great-great-grandfather and grandmother, then perhaps this is,
Yeah, where was
if
it?
this was Herzog,
Herzog.
Johann George Herzog might have been Magdalena Margaretha Herzog's father.
Could have been, because I don't know what, that doesn't sound right. There's something else. Now here's your great, but they don't have any Peter Burkle, farmer and mayor, and Ann Barbara Kaufman.
Well, now that's your great-grandfather, which would be my great-great-grandfather.
Let's wait a minute. Let's see here. George Peter Burkle and Barbara Burkle. And that is Ann Barbara, isn't it? Kaufman.
That's got to be this one.
It has to be that one.
Barbara Burkle
Yeah.
B. Kaufman.
That must be the one that he's talking about. But yet he's got great on there.
Too great for him.
That's too much for me now.
Okay, and
It's
then
going
this
back
letter
too far.
was
That was the service for my grandfather
George Peter Burkle.
in Germany. And they...
If you're going out, mostly cloudy. There will be some areas of fog that developing later on in the evening. 54 degrees will be the morning.
Yeah, it says, our beloved departed suffered a very severe blow 8 months ago by the tragic death of his son, but he was spared a very severe loss which threatened him for several years. I wonder who they're talking about passing away.
Yeah, one of his sons.
His wife, who 49 years ago made her lifetime contract with him, was spared by a mighty God, and although weakened, she was spared to him until his death. And some more from the Bible. George Peter Burkle, citizen and farmer, landowner of this locality, was born here January 31st, 1814. His parents were George Peter Burkle, parish trustee, who died here September 25th, 1847. And his wife, Barbara Kaufman, died here as widow November 23rd, 1848. His baptism took place February 2nd. The sponsors were Philip Burkle, son of the parish trustee, a single man, and Catherine Herzog, wife of the schoolmaster. And that would have been,
Yeah,
I don't know, let's see. Catherine Herzog.
Yeah, there, that tells about that Herzog there, see?
Yeah, but that one's not Catherine.
That wouldn't be,
Well, anyway, then it goes on and says, judging from external appearances, he lived a very simple life. How could they tell? All of his life was spent right here in his birthplace. He was never absent from home for any definite length of time, neither to serve time in the army or in any other kind of service. Well, that wasn't a necessarily kind thing to say.
No.
After finishing his education on the local school, he and 25 others of his age were confirmed in the year of 1828. His life as a single man was spent in his parental home, and here he found a large circle of brothers and sisters. Altogether, there were 4 brothers and 3 sisters. The oldest sister, Magdalene, was married here. She died in the year 1872. Her oldest brother, John Philip, followed her in death in the year 1881.
Magdalene, I was trying to place, I don't see her on here. That's in the back of there, isn't it?
The third to die is one whose remains lie here in this casket today. 4 of the family still survive. One brother, John George, was married here. 2 sisters, Barbara and Margaret, who presently are widows. The youngest brother wandered off to North America 36 years ago with his family, and that must be William Ernst.
Now see, that's what I've been wondering. How many children were there?
Okay, it said...
There were 4 brothers and 3
3
sisters.
sisters.
Now, isn't that something?
4 still living at the time of this
Yeah.
funeral, which was in,
Now here, does
let me see, wait a minute, 1889.
I was-
There were still,
The oldest brother, John Philip. See, there's a brother, isn't it?
he died,
And the oldest sister was Magdalene.
okay, and she died.
And
The rest of them were still alive until Peter Berkeley
2
died.
sisters, Barbara and Margaret, who presently are widows. The youngest brother wandered off to North America.
And that's William Ernst,
Yeah, that's a funny...
your father.
Yeah, that must
Okay.
be him.
36 years with ago with his family. In the summer of 1881, he visited the land of his birth and remained here for 6 weeks.
Well, that wouldn't be him then, because he...
He must have gone back. The deceased was married on May 26, 1840. His parents were still among the living. His bride was the bereaved widow, Catherine Margaret Nee Berkeley, daughter of Peter Berkeley. What's this? Schultheis? Chultheis?
Schultheis, it sounds like it.
Who died here in the summer of 1883 at the advanced age of 90 years.
Good heavens,
God blessed this marriage with a family of 10 children. 4 of them died in infancy. The others were reared and educated by their parents. All of them survive except George Peter, who was married here and died on August 2nd of the past year as a result of an accident. August 2nd.
Anything on there? It's August, but what year? No, that's Papa here. No,
Of the past year, it would have been 1888.
1880.
I don't know who that is. He fell from the barn and very suddenly was taken from his life. I guess. We all understand what a sad occurrence this was for his aged father and his sickly mother. The 3 remaining sons are Herman, who was married in Waiblingen, Waiblingen, Philip August in Laustadt, Laustatt, and William Ernst, who wandered off to North America in 1880 and was married there.
That's right.
So that's your father. The 2 daughters, Mary Margaret, married Carl Frederick Berkeley, Buerkle, citizen and farmer from this locality. Wilhelmina Carolina, who also wandered off to North America and married there and lives in the same town where her brother lives.
That's right, that's Aunt Minnie. we...
Oh, Wilhelmina, Minnie,
yeah,
okay.
Wilhelmina, see, they call her
Right.
Minnie, but her name was Wilhelmina.
Wandered off to North
Yeah,
America.
that's what always got me when I read that.
Regarding the health of our beloved departed, we must say it was good. He was seldom sick and was able to do some light work almost to the very end. He was always active and busy, but with him it was a standing rule, remember that thou keep holy the Sabbath day. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy works, but the seventh day is the Sabbath day of the Lord thy God. He never missed Mass unless it was absolutely impossible to attend. He was still here occupying his usual place on Passion Sunday.
Oh my God.
Nevertheless, he experienced the infirmities of old age. For 8 years his eyesight gradually diminished. Towards the last he could no longer read. This caused him great pain. At the same time his feet also caused him trouble, and he had to use a cane to support himself. They sure went into all the detail at the funeral,
Isn't
didn't they?
that something? I think he had cataracts. That's
It
why
says,
his eyes went.
towards the end of his life he also suffered several light strokes, but he seemed to weather the storm and gradually recover. He realized that death was imminent, and he meditated on death as being not too far off. Although he had been feeling quite well, he suffered another stroke on the night of Tuesday to Wednesday, and this stroke rendered him unconscious and caused his family to realize seriously that the end was near. His condition did improve slightly during the following days, but on last Saturday, both he and his wife received holy viaticum.
Where's that word?
Viaticum.
Viaticum, I guess so. I wonder what kind
After
of...
this, his strength seemed broken, and on the very same evening, on Holy Saturday, April 20th, at 7:30 in the evening, he slept away without a struggle, and at the age of 75 years, 2 months, and 20 days.
75 years, 2 months, and 20 days. Boy, he went into detail, didn't he?
It was a hard blow for his aged life's companion, who herself had passed her 70th year, and had not thought that she ever would be a widow and outlive her husband. It was a separation, the breaking of a union which lasted over 40 years, and a union which both parties were mutually accustomed. But such was the will of God. And God did this, and we may not comment other than to be grateful to that same God that this marriage was not broken for such a period of years. May the Lord also show himself merciful and helpful to the bereaved widow, console her and help her bear her sorrow and burden of grief. At the same time, let us remember that she had not been left entirely alone and forsaken, since her daughter, son-in-law, and 5 grandchildren are with her and have established their home with their parents. Oh, I bet she loves that.
Yeah.
This also is a relief and consolation for the deceased, both in the days of his health as well as in sickness. Aside of these grandchildren, the deceased had 10 other grandchildren to enjoy. His son in Waiblingen had 4, the son in Lausstadt 2, the son in America 3, and his daughter in America 1.
She had 5, ended up with 5, and Papa ended up with 10.
So they were 7 short on
Yeah,
Pop.
they were short, weren't they? Yeah. Of course, that's when he died. Papa just had 3, so that would have been Lydia and Bertha and Victor.
And then there's below this, it says, this is a transcription of the letter sent to the brother who wandered off to North America. Dated Schmieden, July 3rd, 1889. Dear brother, enclosed is a funeral sermon given by Father. We just had to wait until we received it from the pastor. So this must be the sermon we just read for his father.
That's it, yeah.
We are living in constant worry about the weather. The time of the harvest is not far off. We have read a great deal in the paper about damage done by lightning and hail, and also by high water, killing both men and beasts. So far we have been spared. So far everything is in good shape, and it would be a shame.
Yeah.
And the rest of the sentence is gone. Besides this, I really have nothing new to write, perhaps more at a later date. As far as our health is concerned, we are all well. We have to keep busy and work hard. Too much rain makes it impossible to get anything done. Mother, as usual, is in good health. I will close in the hope that this letter will reach you in good health. We all send friendly greetings. Signed, your mother, sister, brother-in-law, and children.
Your mother, sister,
Brother-in-law, and children.
children.
So it must have been written by his sister
Yeah. The sister
to
wrote
William
it.
Ernst.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's interesting.
It is, but how he goes in detail, though, my.
And all of this was transcribed from the German.
Yes, uh-huh.
Well, did I understand that the picture I had, the charcoal, was of the, let's see, that would have been
Well, this one, the charcoal drawing you have,
Yeah.
that is the man that they're talking about that died.
George Peter and
Yeah.
Catherine Margaret.
Uh-huh, that's who that is.
Which would have been my great-great-grandparents.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
see, it would be
Your grandparents.
it'd be Bertha's
Grandparents.
grandparents. It would be BJ's great-grandparents, and
And
be
my
your
great-great.
great-great-grandparents.
Well, was he, didn't I understand that he was a minister? Or am I wrong?
No, he was, what did they say he was in there? They were, well, I can't all tell you, farmers and mayors, mayors.
I wonder
of
what
the town.
religion they were.
That's what I'm wondering when they talk about Mass and all that, but I'm sure they're not Catholic.
It seemed to me like Mama Burton said that they were Lutheran.
I think you're right. I think there's something there because the Lutheran have more things like the Catholic, I think, than we do. And we have catechism and those things too in our church. It's a lot like the Catholic.
What's yours?
But I don't know what you would call it now. I belong to the Emmanuel United Church of Christ, it's called. But the church we were brought up in was St. John's Evangelical. And the Senate wouldn't have any peace until we merged with the Salem Reformed Church.
What were your parents, Burkle's
What were their
religion?
Well, the same as mine.
Oh, they were all
went
brought up the same?
Oh, you mean my parents in Germany?
No, the ones here.
Oh no, they belonged to the St. John's Evangelical Church.
Because I know when Mama Bert lived in Dallas, she went to Episcopal Church.
Yeah, I think that now that has a lot of the Catholic.
Yeah, I think it's as close to it as any.
Very close. In fact, it's closer than any, I think. But I have a feeling that more of the Lutheran over there. Now, Papa they wanted him to join the Lutheran, but the only reason he refused to join it is because he was an odd fellow, belonged to the Odd Fellows. And if you belonged to Lutheran in those days, you had to give up all your lodges. You couldn't belong to anything but what's right there in the Lutheran. Now, that was years ago. Whether it's that way yet, I don't know.
Any idea why Papa Burkle came to the United States?
Well, I'll tell you what way I understood it, and in fact your mother told me this, and how true it is I don't know, it might be hearsay. But it seems that one of his brothers died, and it's always, if there's a single brother, it's up to them to marry the widow and take care of her and her children. And Papa didn't see that. He couldn't see about marrying his brother's widow, so he decided to get out and come to America. And that's what Bert told me, and it must be true. That's why he decided to come to America.
And I wonder why his sister came over.
I don't know unless, I can't understand, because just the two of them, I think, came over. I know that. Now he has...
They didn't come together.
No. Oh no. I don't even know when Aunt Benny came over either, but they didn't come together. But I never heard him say when Aunt Benny. She's always been here as long as I've known her. But I do know that the Papa had a nephew that came over. That he stayed with my folks. He came over when he was 13 years old.
What was his name?
His name was Ernst Burkle. And he was the son of one of Papa's brothers. Now I think he was only 13 when he came over, and he went to school. They sent him to school, and then he helped in the meat market. And he learned, that was his trade then. That's the way they did. They, in Germany, boys would learn a trade in something over there. And that's how Papa learned his meat market, be a butcher, because they taught him, that's what he learned over there. And they sent Ernst over here, and he went into the meat market. They sent him to school, and then he helped in the meat market, and that's all he ever did. And
Did Papa Burkle arrange marriages for his daughters?
no, that's one thing he never did.
He didn't try.
No, you know that because they all married, they none of them married a German.
Yeah.
None of them. And I can show you, and we went German church, I can show you a lot of families who insisted their children marry German people. But
I wonder why he didn't. Maybe he didn't feel that traditional, huh?
No, I guess they were more open-minded. They didn't believe in it.
Well, after they came to
He
the
didn't
United
like to
States.
have. Well, he didn't like his life being told what to do, and I suppose he never told his children. He never said anything. Not a one of us.
Do you remember the big handlebar mustache?
I know, because when I knew my father, see, I was Papa. You know how old my father was when I was born? 53 years old. Mother was 44. And as long as I've known him, he's had a mustache, but it was one of a real full, straight one.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother used to trim it. She'd always kept it trimmed up. And it was red. Had a
Red?
Yeah, well, yeah, Papa he had reddish, sandy red hair.
He did.
That's where the red comes in our family. And
That could explain why my two brothers and sister have
well,
red hair.
that's probably right. They probably get it from, and Bert was blonde. She never was red, but she was blonde.
Mm-hmm.
Where Lydia was dark-headed, like Mother. Mother was dark. Had dark hair and black eyes, or brown eyes. Papa had blue eyes and blonde, and Mom said, he said he has sandy hair. She would never admit he had red hair.
No, why not?
And he had a red mustache. Don't kid yourself.
So that big
I
old
don't know.
handlebar must have been something
It
else
would
if
have
it
been
was
a
red.
Yes, it would have. He'd have really had a red mustache. Because when I knew him and he was 53 and getting gray, that mustache was still red. But, his sister Minnie had 5 children. Every one of them were redheaded. They're all redheaded.
Then his folks must have had some red hair.
It came from, it had to come out of the Burkles
Yeah.
over there, the red hair. So, but that's right. I know that Mother, I don't know why she never liked red hair. She was so glad she never had any red hair. I don't know why. I think red hair is pretty.
Now, I read someplace, and I don't remember which side of the family it was on, that one of our ancestors was one of Napoleon's bodyguards.
Yeah, one of these great-great-grandfathers.
Is that true?
That's where they got they had what they told me, a coat of arms given to him.
Mm-hmm.
And, but it was over in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not they told me, said they had it was in one of the old homes there. And so it never brought over here to America, but now they have. I don't know, we had another Dr. Burkle in town that was a cousin to Papa's, and he had a picture of it, I know, but I heard him say he did. I never seen it. I don't know what it is, but that's true. He was given a coat of arms for being in the service.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they got that.
By Napoleon?
Well now, I don't know how could Napoleon, he wasn't German though, was he?
No.
He was French.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you are again. Did you know that the Burkles were French at one time?
Mm-hmm.
Before the French Revolutionary War. I understood that they left, of course you know how Germany and France is just like Indiana and
Mm-hmm.
Illinois. And when the Revolutionary War, a lot of these Burkles left France and went into Germany. That's how they got in. They're not too far from the French border. See, they're down pretty close to the border. They're in the southern part of Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they left. But this must have happened when they lived in France. It had to. Of course, I don't know how long ago that's been. A long time ago. Of course, you look at some of these ancestors here that were born back here in 1748. When did Napoleon?
I don't remember.
I should remember. I've read stories on him, and I just don't recall it.
Well, it had to be before our own Revolutionary War in the 1700s.
But anyway, that
it was
is
probably
true.
one of the predecessors of these folks even.
In fact, we did have something written about it, but I don't know whatever happened to it, told about how, about the coat of arms and all. I wonder if this Dr. Law ever knew that. I bet if I did, he'd get on it and try to track it down, because he'd probably want to get it.
Put him on the trail.
Yeah, I think I will. I'll tell him, and what we heard, maybe he can, I don't know if he can or not, find something about it.
Well, I sure appreciate you staying up until midnight with
I'm
me
no
to,
fun. I'm, like I tell you, I'm a night person. I've got a grandson, my oldest grandson, he's a night person too. We're just alike. He'd come here and visit us when he was growing up. Shoot, he could outdo me. Yeah, Tom. He could outstay me. A lot of times I had to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and so that's the only reason I'd go to bed. I'd finally go and I'd say, well, Tom, I'm going to bed, and you'd get ready, turn off the television, and I'd go on to bed. He'd still be sitting there watching television. He's that way, still that way. He's a night person like me. We're the only two in the family, I think, it's night people. Elmo goes to bed early, Dolores, but they get up early. See, they get, that's where I don't.
not me either.
I'm not, and Tom doesn't either. When he'd stay here, he wouldn't get up till 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. He'd sleep, he loved it. Of course, that's the way I am. We stay up all night, and then we don't want to get up in the morning.
Paid for it in the morning, huh?
Yeah, and you just can't do that when you got to work. Well, are you all done?
I think that's enough, don't you?
Well, I've enjoyed sitting here talking and visiting. And
Let's go to bed.
family tree. There you see, family tree. Yeah, I've got to